So today's project is to make a Sheena board or Shena board, push-up board out of 12 by 12 by 1 inch plywood and a 2 inch by, I think this is 36 inches long. We're going to cut it down to 30 inches and put it together. Some of the tools we're going to use, we're going to cut the pole, we'll sand it flat, drill a couple 2-inch holes in the plywood, cut those in half to make it more manageable, and end up having a nice solid platform with this wonderful 2-inch pole. So we're going to cut this 30 inches long. 1 inch is going to be buried inside each side, then a 2nd inch will be on the outside. So it'll make sense in a little bit. Nice and square, both sides will be perfect up against the flat end. This is 12 feet on the nose, 12 by 12, and it's 1 inch plywood, which is really 7/8. So 7/8 by 12 by 12. Our goal is to cut it in half, flip them together, drill a hole through one of them that's 2 inches wide, so the pole will slide into that, and then hit the second one on the back side. So first thing to do is cut these in half. So I set up a little fence that's the correct amount of distance away from the blade, and I'm cutting just a hair deeper than the 7/8 thick plywood. So we'll give it a shot. And they line up perfectly. So this will be the side. We'll drill a hole through one of them where the 2-inch dowel will go, end up rounding off the corners. So it'll be a hole in one, solid to the back of the other. That'll be a nice solid platform. I gotta do the other. For our sides. So now it's time to figure out a placement for the handle on the Sheena board. And so one option is we can put it right in the middle, but I'm thinking that I'm going to round the corners, probably the radius of the dowel. So then I'm thinking I want it just a little bit higher on the board. So I'll mark it, drill the holes with the new 2-inch hole saw. I'm positive I've got one around, but probably use it every 3 years. So couldn't find it, so just picked up a new one. And we'll give this a try. So now this is 6 by 12. So if we go 6 inches in, exactly 6 inches in, and let's just make that mark here at 6 inches. And then let's figure out where we want this. Probably somewhere like that. So then if we measure up to the middle, we got 3.5 inches right there. It feels a little high. 3¼ inches there. Let's go with that. So there's 6 inches and 3¼ . Here's where we're going to drill. We've got to do 2 of them, so might as well mark them both. And we'll mark them off the cut bottom. Again, 6 inches. So that's where we'll drill. The piece of wood underneath is sacrificial, so when you look at this, obviously the drill tip is going to go through the underlying board, so just keep that in mind as you do these things. It's nice to have a sacrificial piece underneath. So, moment of truth. Is 2 inches 2 inches, or is it close? Fits perfectly. So, the way this will work is we'll take one with a hole in it, back it up by one with one solid piece, and then we'll glue these together, long braid to long braid, so that'll be good. And then we'll glue and screw this in, so then the Seena board and ultimately the push-up boards will be 2 inches thick. We'll round the corners and flatten them, and then plenty of room for, you know, a handstand, those kinds of things. So very, very sturdy, very stable, and that's the design. Next thing, we'll do the shaping on these with just a sanding wheel, grinding wheel, and then get them both being the exact same. And we'll do a glue up and pin the pole. And I'm thinking that I'm just going to drill a hole and then drive a pin all the way down into the center to hold it in place, and then use 5-minute epoxy to lock it in. So time for a dry fit up. This is what it's going to look like. I'll round over the edges on these with the router next. But that's the basic setup. So progress, the glue did great, and just rounded the corners simply. So next step is route the edges round, and then we're going to drive screws, 4-inch screws, through each of these to allow it to pin. And then I'm going to use 5-minute epoxy, so that'll be a little bit of a quick glue up, but should hold anything. So next, the router. Okay, so I've thought about it some more, and I'm going to actually do the glue up before I pin it. We've got a square table, so I've got one end clamped vertically square, so square this way. And then I'll mix up the 5-minute epoxy, put it in both sockets, and then slide the pole in, and then move this side in, make sure it's square to this, and clamp it. We'll give that a try. So drill the hole all the way through for the number 12 4-inch screws, and then countersunk them a little bit. My thought is that gets the drill bit a little bit further in, and then lets me plug those holes after they're done. So let's screw them together and see how they look. So we got a solid mechanical connection, and then the 5-minute epoxy. Let's just take the clamps off. Now the 5-minute epoxy is dry, but they say ultimately needs 48 hours to finish. So there you have it. Let's put it on the ground, see what it looks like. Really solid. So it's about 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches, 2 pieces of plywood, 1-inch plywood, laminated together on both sides. I cut it, I think 30 inches, so that 1 inch could be inside each side, and then 28-inch for the center. I have to clean it up and seal it, but that's how it looks. We'll give it a try. Just put on the third coat. We use a marine sealer for a variety of things, and so thought I'd try that on this. It lets it be really hard, really durable, provides a really good grip, and so we'll see how it looks on this. This turned out great. It's a really solid platform. The 2-inch handle is really nice on your hands. You get a good grip, so really solid grip. no digging into your hands like a typical flat push-up board or Seena board. So turned out great. We'll see how Steph likes it.